everyone. Welcome to HBCU Drumline Talk. Once again, we're here to join you. My name is Ricardo, and I'm joined by EP the Great, Elijah Powell. And tonight, we're just going to follow back up on an episode that we just did, episode 3, The Life of a Drumline Instructor on a High School Level. Now, that episode was really good. We got 3 different high school drumline instructors who all went to HBCUs. One went to Southern, the other one went to North Carolina A&T, and one went to Norfolk State University. So this episode is pretty much impromptu. We're actually going to just really look at their high school lines from a distance. When I say from a distance, we're talking about 4 to 5 years ago to the present. And before we get started, we just want to recap. Elijah, what do you think about that episode that we did last week? Yeah, not even last week. It was a couple days ago, actually.
Yeah. It was a good episode, man. A lot of knowledge, that they said. I advise everyone who missed it to please go back. Like I said, we on, Pandora now, which is a new thing that just happened. iHeart, SoundCloud, and of course YouTube, Spotify. But yeah, it was a good episode. They came in, they took time out their day to spread some knowledge, to hopefully, future instructors, whether it's high school or, college. But very good information that was said in that last episode.
Okay, that's good. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into it. And the first video that we're going to look at tonight is going to be Edna Karr. And this happened about 4 years ago, 2016. So basically, what we're going to do is just look at the video in its entirety. We're going to look at what we like and what improvements could be done, if any. So let's jump right into it. Let's take a first look at Edna Karr. Nice thick ice. Yeah, so that was a video back from 2016. A couple of good things. Actually, it was a lot of good things happening in that. Nice stick heights as well. Everybody seemed like they were dialed in, excited to at least be there on the drum line as well. Looked like the drum lines was actually, they had a full drum line at this point. Full snare line, cymbals as well, bass drums, and the multi-toms as well. What do you think?
Very good video. And what I noticed, it was intense. Something about the schools, I guess, in the SWAC, genre, if you want to say, the high schoolers are very, very intense, as far as in how they play. But I did notice, some people, as far as the facial, even though they was playing intense and looked intense, their faces like they was, somewhat unsure. And not saying that's the case. This is what I'm getting from, what I'm looking at,
I
And
think I think judging, if I were to there again, this is 4 years ago, 2016, from a person that would be standing on the outside looking in, judging this, you made a good point. I just think it's very important to be kind of, what we call it, zoned out, 1,000 mile stare, try not to be looking around, or just try to have a look of confidence in the drum line. The playing, stick heights and everything. I just think it's that one aspect of, like you said, that look on the face, not looking
yeah,
around too much, just being confident in what you're doing. So that's
yeah.
2016. So let's go ahead and fast forward to about 5 days ago. Okay, so as we took a look at the most recent video here, it's a lot of good stuff happened in that video. One thing that sticks out to me, and I just want to say to Mr. Harrison, good job, because as
Yeah,
for our conversation, they've been going, like you said in our conversation, he had to rehearse with like the snares one day, another section another day, and he had to put them all together on one day. And this is the culmination of that. But I just want to say good job for just putting everything together. You guys sound really good in this video that took place about 5-6 days ago on this. So one thing I noticed from the original video that we looked at from 5 years ago, just the changing of the heads just made a different sound. They're not using the black pinstripes as I saw in the first video. Also, there's the lack of the multi-tenor toms. I think that actually, the second video, they didn't need the multi-tenor toms in that point. But ultimately, from a distance on this video, they looked really good. Pretty intimidating from a distance because it's a large section, and from a distance it sounds really good. All the stick heights were the same. The bass drums were coming through real clear. The cymbals were coming through real clear, and especially the tenor drums were coming real clear. So good job, Mr. Harrison, on that.
Yeah, very good job. In this video, they were looking like they was having fun. Yeah, I guess it was a game, Friday night game, football game, whatever. They in the stands going back and forth. But I really like the beats, especially at the 106 mark in the video. I really like the rhythms, the beats. I guess with the basses and tenors going off each other, and the snares, the accents in the snares and tenor drum. 106 was I'm rocking with that one. Only thing I couldn't hear the snares, but outside, in tuning and gets a type of head. You're not saying that's wrong, but I couldn't hear the snares, but at certain points. But for overall, I really like that cadence. In 302, that was another one. That I guess it was the third cadence or whatever y'all was playing, but yeah, the 302 mark, that sounded good. I would just say the tenor drums open up on those 16th note passages. I forgot what the rhythm was, but other than that, yeah, solid line. Very intense. The beats is there. I can see the discipline is there. Keep it going. Shout out Mr. Harrison. Let's go. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Good job. I think just to piggyback on what you were saying, there's a couple of things here. I think from 218 all the way till about 330 was definitely the groove section of everything that you guys were doing. And like I said, from a distance, let's say another drum line going up, it looks really good, real intimidating. We've got a full section. Looks like you guys are out there for business as well. So good job. Mm-hmm. So we're going to transition and we're going to take another, we left from Louisiana. Now we're going to look at a North Carolina high school. This is Dudley High School. And Mr. KJ Hudson, also great conversation. He gave a lot of input last week when we did the interview as well on the cast as well. So what we're going to do right now is just take a look at Dudley. And this is Dudley about 5 years ago. So we're going to take a look at him. Dudley at the YMCA. Okay, so just looking at this video, EP, what's your first initial thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would say, it's something it's something new to them. They're not sure of what they playing. And this is what I'm getting. Not saying it's what it is, but I guess it's something that they just got, recently. And they, and they going through it. They seem nervous. They seem nervous because of this different visual stuff and stuff I'm hearing. But for the most part, everything sounded good. But I guess, me judging so many competitions and seeing so much different stuff, I can tell, some people are not sure of what's going on. And like I said, could have been just a new cadence, block, whatever that.
So yeah, I agree with you on that. And just going back, of course, this was like 5 years ago. So 2015 at a YMCA, I believe it was, they came into this, this exhibition per se, just because someone else backed out per se. And maybe it was something like the last minute. And there's a couple things in this, and good job for at least doing it on the fly. As somebody who would just give some critiquing at that time, 2015, after it was over, I would have just probably came to him and say, hey, look, no matter what you guys do, if you have about 15 minutes, think about something that you can put together, 15 minutes that you know. That's one. Seems like there was a lot of misfires from what I saw in the video, and obviously 5 years ago. And another thing, I probably would just say, look, it makes a difference if you're using the same sticks. There's one young gentleman up there, I believe they look like Ralph Hardiman's. Another guy had some other sticks. That might have played a change in the tone of the drum, and plus the use of different heads. So I think one of the snare drummers had that clip, that white coat. The other ones had that plain stripe. That's all I would say about that. So even though it was 2015, good job for doing the.
But hold on, Victor. But to go back on that, sometimes it's all the high schools have,
right,
and it's a shame, far as the heads or as far as the equipment. This is all, they have, which is a shame, and and I guess whoever needs to do more, the mayor, or whoever you want to call, but. Music does.
The mayor.
It does. I mean, somebody, it's the music does wonders for people, in general, and and the way certain, I guess, school systems, go through what they go through, it's sad.
But chiming back on what you were saying, and I know what I was saying is just that plays a difference in what type of sound that you get out of the drum. But this all ties back into what Mr. Harrison was saying, Mr. Hudson was saying. A lot of times they had to do their own repairs, and this was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so that's a perfect example of what happens. A lot of times, like you said, you might have 3 snare drums. One might have that really tight Kevlar white head. The other ones might have that dark Remo head on the snares, which you're going to get a different sound out of. Got to use what you can. Just as a suggestion, back then, that's what I probably would have told them. In 2005. Hey, look, just make sure you put things together. Make sure they're tight. Even if you don't have to go through a whole show. Hey, look, EP. Let's do this cadence. Let's do this case. Let's do this. We're tight on 3. Do what we need to do and out.
So basically, you say you need to have a backup plan for instances like that. So if we get called for this show or last minute show, we need to have this in the pocket. What you saying?
That's correct. You just had to have something that's, hey, look, the band director saying we got this impromptu schedule. We got this impromptu competition that's set up for 3 o'clock in the afternoon over at this high school. Well, we haven't really rehearsed anything, but this is what we do have that's tight.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. And I think that falls back on what you said originally. Just in this video, it just looked like, spur of the moment. Let's put this together and let's roll with it.
Yeah. But like I said, overall, good video. Not, I don't know the behind the scenes of it, but it's just what I saw. But yeah, so go ahead.
Fast forward, we're going to go ahead and take a look at something that just happened within last couple of months, okay? And this was actually last February 2020.
Yeah,
so we'll take a look at this.
I judged this competition. I was there.
Yeah, the Dudley High School at NCCU, right?
I was there.
Okay,
right before the pandemic.
right before everything got shut down. Let's take a look at it. Okay, I don't think I need to see any more of this. Just right away, just looking at this video, I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Hudson on this. Like you said, he's the instructor with this high school, and there is a night and day comparison what happened 5 years ago to what's going on right now. And for anyone who's out there, anyone who marched at Dudley High School per se 5 years ago and would say, well, I think we could have got him. I just don't think so. I'm just not. I'm not convinced. From 2015 to now, it just wouldn't. Clearly, it's a lot cleaner now than it was 5 years ago, and which is supposed to happen. I mean, obviously, the drumline is supposed to progress every year. And there again, Mr. Hudson, he did a great job. Stick heights, the sound was so clean. The cymbals, the tenors, and everything were coming through. Even the bass drums, just were a little bit different on this one. So good job on that. What do you think? And obviously, you were there. So
I was there, and I gave them, some good, good advice or good, information, whatever. But I know at 0.43, the timestamp on the video, 0.43, that snare solo, the hand-to-hand roll. I'm really messing with that. But it's like I told, Mr. Hudson, the snares on that day was playing like grown men. Basically the whole line was playing like grown, humans, as far as the sound, putting out the sound, playing it to the drum, not just tapping it, whatever, but just playing to the drum, producing that sound. And totally different. But not to go back to the old video, that was a good video also, but you could tell, I guess the differences, in being sure of what you're doing and not sure. So,
impromptu
was the actual competition. So they had to get ready for that. But like I said, I was there. I loved it then. I love it now. Clean.
Well, let me say this: even if it wasn't rehearsed for a drumline competition, I still think that from what happened 2015, even if both lines were impromptu, 2015 Dudley against 2020 or 2020 Dudley, clearly, the sound is cleaner 2020, and I give that to probably Mr. Hudson on doing some good things with that. So, there again, that's a good picture to see the evolution of the high school drum line based on the instructor there. He's put in a lot of time with them. I can really tell he's talked to them about, stick heights, things like that.
Yeah.
Having an instructor just talking about certain things. But big difference, 2015, clearly we looked at something that was impromptu to where it is now. Not taking either one, not taking anything away from both of the lines. There's both really good videos to look at and both really good videos to compare and contrast, for Mr. Hudson. Hey, this is where we were. This is where we are now.
And to be honest, it's actually really hard to do it impromptu. Yeah. Your director be like, look, hey, we got a performance, or y'all got a performance at 4:30. The president just told me, or the principal just told me, this is what it is. So,
So let me ask.
Like I said, the old video, they held it together. Like I said, it wasn't nothing bad, but yeah.
So let me ask you, EP, being that you're the instructor of Virginia State University, and if somebody gives you a message, hey, look, we got to do this drumline presentation, or we got to do this performance real quick. It's pretty much at the beginning of the year, right after band camp. Things aren't as tight as they should be. What do you do?
Well, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to play the cadences that they know as a whole. So, with band camp, we learning, we starting from the basics, warm-ups, techniques, stuff. And as far as the whole band, warm-ups, how to hold the instrument, marching, this and that, but we also learn the cadences for when the band has to march outside, to get that endurance. So them cadences that we playing, all day, okay, that's something that's going to take up time.
Right.
In other words, so, if somebody come to me with like, which it happens a lot.
Right.
We're going to play at this church, or we have to play at this church, or this and that. We need y'all for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going, okay, so this cadence, this cadence, we're going to play it, So it's all about having what the instructor having in their mind. Okay, they can do this, they can do that, so I'm going to call this, or I'm going to allow them to call that. See what I'm saying? So it's just knowing what they know and what they're comfortable with. That's it.
So do you think it would be, I guess, in the best interest of the instructor if he feels that we're not ready for this performance at this point in time? Do you think it's a good idea for the instructor to just say, look, instead of going
it's very good.
Okay.
It's very good. Yes, people done it before that I know. It's very good, yes.
Okay.
You want to come out there, with any kind of performance. So it's best to say we're not ready than to, see what I'm saying? So
yeah, just know if we're not ready. Okay. So let's take a look here. We're gonna look at a Virginia high school at this point in time.
VA.
We're gonna look at Bethel. We're gonna look at Bethel High School, and we're gonna take a look here at a video that happened. I believe this is 4 years ago as well, 4 to 5 years ago. So let's take a look at this one. This is May the 11th, 2015, Bethel competition.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, so we watched about a minute and 30 seconds of that, right? A minute or 30 seconds. And, the good thing about having you on here is I'm sitting on here with someone who was actually there. And I'm talking to it from the standpoint of looking at it from 5 years ago. And whoever the instructor was, I don't know if it was Steve at that time.
It was Frank.
Okay, so Frank.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank, at that point in time, you can really tell he just took time. And there again, I believe this was a competition. Is that right?
Yes, it was a competition at Bethel High School. They was doing exhibition.
Okay, a little exhibition. So one thing is that they looked like they were ready for the exhibition. They looked like they were having a good time. And, just the tuning of the drums itself, there again, goes back to, tuning for the room, using specific stick heights, playing for the room. And, the stick heights were well, everybody was dialed in. Bass drums were pretty much dialed in with the tonal parts. Cymbals were all there. I really didn't see too much of the tenor parts as well, but from the sound of it in the video, it sounded like everything was all together as well.
Yeah, well, I would say that line, the tenor drums was very powerful. Doing them years and even now.
Right.
But like I said, I was there. I was one of the judges, for the competition. And
let me stop you right there. So just to be clear, when we say tenor drums, we're talking about multi-tenor drums. Just to be clear, multi-tenors, not the standalone tenor drums.
Yeah. So when I'm talking, I'm say if I say tenors, okay. Well, okay. So yeah, multi-tenors. If I'm talking about a single tenor drum, then yeah, single tenor,
right?
Where whatever, chest or yeah. But I'm talking about multi-tenors. They was on fire then, and they still are now. But yeah, them boys and girls, that line is always producing beats. Coming from, like I said, Frank. That was when he was still here instructing, and even now when Steve, in what he's doing, that line, is playing some beats. And the technique, looks, to par, in this video. And yeah, I mean, it's not too much I can say, but they playing.
Yeah,
they playing.
That was about 5 years ago, and you can tell both the instructors went to a specific, HBCU.
Yeah, NSU,
Norfolk State. So you can tell that there's some influence on that drum line in regards to sound wise and playing inside.
Because like I said, the drums are tuned perfect. The bass is cutting through, the snares, quints, everything is cutting through perfectly. Right. Yeah.
So that was about 5 years ago. So let's see what they're doing about a year ago. Let's see what they're doing now. And this is 2019 Bethel Drumline, April the 15th, 2019. So about a year ago, a little bit less than that. And let's check it out.
Open up.
put some time with him on the drum. So.
Yeah.
Okay, EP, what do you think? What do you think on that?
And this is another show that I've seen and had to judge. Like I said, Bethel, they're always gonna bring, bring the beats and bring that, the cleanliness. I would go back to say at 1.30, the timestamp, the tempo might, and it's just me coming on my end. It might have been different from as live at that point, but the tempo, I guess, is kind of off. And that was the warm up. But during the show, and I'm sure I said this, when I judge, I would say, I guess, during the beginning of the block, it wasn't enough, I guess, upper sound. It was a lot of bass treble, the basses, the quints, whatever coming through. But I guess between the quints, I'm sorry, the snares, it was just, I guess, needed more
sound, right?
Between the balance and coming through.
Okay. So do you think that has to deal with like just prepping for the room and being aware of the surroundings? Maybe the bottom bass drummer. No.
I think it deals with I guess writing the music, far as layering that part with the snare drum, maybe with the top basses.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So it have a, not a thin sound. See what I'm saying? What I heard in the video, but maybe if he would have layered it with top 1 or 2 bass and quit playing the same thing, that section would have came through. I didn't write the stamp, but I guess it was in the beginning of the block when the snares and stuff started coming in.
Right. So we can tell 5 years ago where it was Frank, and now where we go just recently, the video that we just watched, is Steve at this point. Most likely it's 2 different writing styles, even though they're from the same NSU, Norfolk State University. 2 different writing styles. I just think the on the new one under Steve, some of the bass drum rolls, the runs themselves they took the time to really clean those runs up. And some of the snare lines, some of the snare rolls, and obviously having one tenor player, it's kind of hard to, whenever you have one tenor player, it's really kind of hard to see, well, are you freestyling, are you playing writing to the music, because there's no one else to judge you, no one else to compare you to. So that would be my only thing. Whenever you have one multi-tenor player, it's really kind of hard to look at that, because I don't know if you're actually freestyling or what it may be, if the music's not really written.
But you're gonna know as a percussionist or whoever, you're gonna know, okay, did he freestyle? Maybe not, because it's gonna line up with everything else. So you're gonna know. You're gonna know, Rick.
So maybe. So if you're really dialed into that, if something's not lining up with the music, it doesn't sound, or the cadence per se, it doesn't sound like, hey, well, that doesn't sound like it actually fits in that section. That's why I think it's important to have more than one tenor player, because if not, let's say anything could happen with that one tenor player, multi-tom player, he forgets a section. Oh, let me go ahead and fill it in, or let me just keep going.
But for us competition, if that's all you got, that's all you got. If it's just one, then hey, what you gonna do? You
But
know,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you've probably seen a little bit more than I have of that. Have you run across that where you might have one tenor player and just not lining up with what's written or what seems to be written?
well, I can't say that now because I would have to go back to a certain performance or whatever. But
Right.
um, going back, I don't think I have. But like I said,
Okay.
I would have to go back and actually look at it again. It's difference in looking at it now on video than watching it live. I would say, you're not gonna catch everything. That's why they have 3 judges. At all competition, you're not gonna catch everything, but
I think I think
I don't remember. Yeah.
I think, and call me the bad guy in this. I think if I were a judge on a panel of 3 percussionists sitting there judging a drumline competition, and I start seeing drumlines come out with one multi-tenor player, and there's back to back. I think that's the question I would actually ask, because there's nothing to compare him. It's like, you got a line of snare drummers. Okay, well, yeah, they're all playing the same thing. Okay, great. But this tenor play, I gotta really dig a little bit deeper and just really ask, and not to put them on the spot or not to put that drum line on the spot or anything. But those are the questions that would start coming to me.
Okay, so what if it was a single snare drummer?
There again, it's the same thing. I gotta ask. I mean, if you're just the lone snare drummer out there and something's not fitting into that cadence or that competition, yeah, I gotta ask. My question on that sheet, that judging sheet, is I would probably want to see the music.
Yeah, I got you.
Because it's hard to do that, man. You one lone snare drummer. Okay, yeah, that looks and sounds good. Is that what's written here? Well, we don't know what's written because we wouldn't have it up there with us, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that would probably be something I would write in the comments and probably have a discussion with the instructor on outside of what we were actually the competition, outside of the competition.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man, we looked at all 3 of these high schools. We looked at, compared and contrast, some definite time frames, present to about 4 to 5 years ago. And my question, EP, on this one, if you had to put them all together, who do you got? Who you got in the competition? If all 3 of these schools went up against each other today, give it a week. Let's say not even today. Let's say, hey, look, you got this competition. We want Dudley, we want Edna Karr, and we want Bethel. You got a week. Who do you got? Who do you like, I should say?
Well, I like all 3.
Yeah.
I like all 3. But in the competition, who will win?
I don't even. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
I'm asking.
Who do you like? I mean, and why? And why?
No, I like all 3. So I like Edna Karr, for the intensity, and the rhythms between the tenor drums and the basses and the snare accents. I like Dudley because, like I said, and I told Mr. Hudson, they play like grown men and women. Just like Edna Karr, they got the intensity. Dudley has the intensity too, and they be stroking. And I'm speaking on the last competition I judged for them, which was the second video that we saw. And it was clean, and they did some good stuff. Bethel, I like them because they mimic, or they sound just like the style I'm used to from high school to college, with the tuned up basses, the tonal basses. Everything is tuned up. You playing a lot of beats. So it's no, I guess, who I like out of all 3. I like all 3, and all 3 are my favorite. So, who you like, Rick?
Okay, so there again, all 3 high schools were great. Looking at the comparison and contrasting each of the high schools, they're all good. I like, much like you said, I like them all. However, you have 3 different high schools from 3 different regions of the country. Yeah, you got Louisiana, you have North Carolina, which is a different sound than a Virginia sound. I think Virginia has that more contemporary sound that's different, that with the tonal bass drums. Get down into North Carolina, they're going to have a little bit of mix of it. They're going to have that single tenor. They're going to have a little bit more depth to their sound. Maybe some tonal bass drums, maybe a little bit more contemporary sound. And then you get down south like Louisiana, and that sound down there is just, you can. It's, I believe we said this in the episode before when first. It's a power episode. So if I saw all three of these high schools, and there again, I'm just speaking for me, and I'm not saying one high school is better than the other. I'm just saying what's going to get my attention is Edna Karr, power wise, and dynamic, flamboyant wise. I would probably go with, who do I like the best? If you had to say, I really like Edna Karr on this. That's who I like. I'm not saying that they're better than the other two high school. I'm just saying, hey, look, if I walked away from the competition, I'd be like, man, we got this Virginia school that's, really got those bass drums really going. We got Bethel that's really, really playing some stuff. They're really playing. They're playing. Same thing with, Dudley. These guys are playing. They're all playing. But I'm walking away saying, man, just what sticks in my head is Edna Karr as I walk away. That's what I'm going to remember. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, Edna Karr, they got a lot of power behind them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I respect you for that.
Yeah.
And like I said, they do. A lot of power. But as far as this competition, it would be kind of hard for me.
I'm glad you mentioned it. As a judge yourself, as judging these three drum lines, that would probably be a challenge. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't. Do you feel that would be a challenge for you?
I mean, going off, what show is presented at that time. Going off the videos, then whatever. But whatever show they present at that time, then it would be kind of hard. It'd be kind of hard.
It'd be kind of challenging. And I think that
and it happens a lot, it'd be, not all the time you have a definite first place, second place, third place winner. See what I'm saying? It'd be hard. And, it comes a time when the instructors or the judges have to, be like, well, yeah, this and that, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. That kind of alludes to the next thing my next comment, in saying that, just what the HBCU drumlines, period, whether it be on a college level or high school level, I give a lot of respect to the judges, if there's more than one, because that is a challenging job, because it's conceptually different. You really can't. I don't know if you can judge a school from Virginia State against a school from, down in Florida or down in Alabama or down in Texas or Louisiana. Is the judging. That's why it's a good idea to have more than one judge on that, because the sound is so conceptually different.
But yeah, usually the way it goes, it's always three judges.
Okay.
Unless something happened, then it's two. But it's usually never less than two.
Right. So in this case, I'm a spectator on this. If I'm watching this and I'm in the crowd watching this, I'm walking away and saying, I like Edna Karr on this.
Well, if I'm a judge, read the notes.
Right. If you're the judge, read the notes, and you'll figure out what time it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, read the notes. It's like yeah.
Okay, so as we come to a close, this was just impromptu follow-up session on the previous episode that we did with HBCU Drumline Talk. I just want to give big congrats, or give big thanks to Damian Harrison, Mr. KJ Hudson, Mr. Steve Smallson, like I said, Mr. Damian Harrison again, you guys really talked some good points up, and you guys gave us really something to really compare and contrast on this episode as well. So for those of you out there who have not taken the chance to take a look at that episode, please dial in, please tune in on Instagram on Facebook, on social media platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud,
Spotify,
iHeartRadio, Pandora.
Pandora.
So just jump in. We got some good topics coming up in the future, as well as the previous topics were all real well.
Yeah, but and if you have topics or ideas, hit us up. HBCU Drumline Talk at gmail.com. Our inbox is always open.
Always.
But just piggyback off what Rick said. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank the supporters.
Thank the supporters. That's it. That's it.
We're giving us to look at HBCU Drumline, the culture as a whole. We're not just talking about college drumlines. We're also going to really talk about high school lines who have that HBCU influence as well. So the things that we talk about, or just what could make a drum line better, or just get better ideas on how could this line be better, or just different ideas on our culture, HBCU drum lines.
Yes, and like I said, we here to help.
Right.
So we want you to use this as a platform. Okay, well, on this episode, I heard this guy say this, so I might reach out to him. Exactly. And it's what it's all about. Networking. And getting help if you need it.
If you need it. So good episode at this point. We want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Please be safe. Please remember to wear your mask, and please have a good time over this break.
Happy holiday.
Happy holidays. We're out. You guys be safe. Have a good night.